Hello, and thank you for joining me today. This is the odor control portion of our Breakaway series. My name is Mike, and I'm a Pro's Choice instructor. In this segment, we'll be covering the basics of odor control. We'll be discussing identification of odor sources, different treatment methods, and finally, customer care and post-treatment procedures. With that being said, let's begin. You'll be marketing your services to a variety of customers. Good real estate agents know that if a property smells, it doesn't sell. Apartment managers know the first thing a potential tenant notices when they walk into an empty unit is the odor. And your average housewife notices every stain and odd smell in their domain. Odor molecules enter the nasal cavity through the nose. Inside the cavity, these molecules activate receptor cells that send a signal through the olfactory bulb to the taste and smell center of the brain. Here, the signal is translated into what we identify as a smell. Let's take a closer look at this. We know there are a variety of these receptor cells, and they're constantly bombarded with materials. Yet they only react to specific odor molecules. Why? How do they tell the difference between one odor molecule and another? By their shape. Odor molecules work like a key in a lock. The specific shape of the molecule triggers the receptor cell and sends the message. If we can change the shape of the molecule, it can no longer trigger the receptor cell. So how do we change the shape of these molecules so they no longer fit into these sites? There are two ways: pairing and cleaving. We combine the molecules together to make a different shape, or we break the molecules apart to form other substances. Either way, the receptor site will no longer accept these changed molecules. We can make the key no longer fit the lock and prevent the receptor site from triggering. If the site isn't triggered, there's no odor. In our industry, we cleave odor molecules in one of two ways. We use enzyme treatments to metabolize the contamination, or we use a redox reaction to break up the odor molecule. Both of these treatments have essentially the same effect. They destroy the odor molecules and remove the odor. Pro's Choice manufactures two different enzyme products. Molecular modifier is the most powerful enzyme treatment in our industry. Odor modifiers in the product pair instantly with odor molecules to change their shape for immediate odor relief, while the enzymes go to work destroying the contamination. Pro's Choice Odorzyme has the same enzyme content as the molecular modifier, but with fewer odor modifiers for customers who may be sensitive to fragrances. Enzyme products like molecular modifier and Odorzyme contain high concentrations of bacteria that recognize the urine contamination as a food source. These bacteria produce enzymes to break down the urine contamination into a form the bacteria can metabolize. The bacteria then replicate and create more enzymes, repeating the cycle until there's no more food or the environment dries out. Pro's Choice OSR destroys odor contamination by cleaving the molecules. OSR has the added benefit of being able to remove both the odors and the stains at the same time, and requires much less time to be effective than enzyme treatments. An oxidizer's ability to cleave molecules is about more than just destroying the molecule. It breaks them down into their component elements and combines with them to form different molecules. Let's look at the effect of an oxidizer on this gin molecule. The oxygen molecules break up the bonds and combine with them. In this case, they form carbon dioxide and water molecules. Animals have varying habits of where they choose to do their business. A male dog will generally mark door jambs, whereas a female will use any open area, often walkways. Male cats will mark the perimeter of their territory, while females prefer privacy, going behind furniture and inside closets. Using our eyes and nose, we can determine a lot about the presence of urine contamination. Visible clues left behind will show us where to look with more accuracy than many professional tools. Indeed, our senses are an important part of our professional arsenal of tools. After strong odors, the first thing we'll notice are visible stains. Our four-footed friend left us a rather obvious clue in this picture. Here, a male dog lifted his leg on the family end table. A very large dog. Odor sources can come from more than just urine and feces. Here we have a stain from where a dog on chemotherapy vomited. The odor we took care of using molecular modifier. The stain took more work, which we'll discuss later on. Another visible sign of animal presence. Most animals will make an attempt to get outside before an accident can occur. Frayed carpet by a door is a sure sign that an animal has been kept inside for too long. Some visible signs aren't so obvious from the surface. Pulling the carpet back can reveal the presence of urine salt in the backing of the carpet. These urine salts are one of the components that urine breaks down into after leaving the body. Another, more odoriferous one, would be ammonia. Not all of the contamination is going to be visible. Urine can build up in a variety of areas, both in the carpet itself and the surrounding construction. Let's take a look. Most common carpet construction can be broken down into several components. The carpet fiber is inserted into the upper layer or primary carpet backing, where it's held in place by the secondary carpet backing and an adhesive. This adhesive is often clay-based and can be very absorbent. Urine contamination can build up in this layer of adhesive and can be very difficult to remove with older methods of treatment. To detect these sources of contamination, we'll use various tools in addition to our eyes and nose. The addition of a urine probe and UV backlight to your arsenal will increase your ability to identify these sources of contamination as well as your rate of success in dealing with pet odors. No one tool is foolproof. It's learning to use the combination of these tools that will lead to your ultimate success. In the past, it's been necessary to block out all forms of UV or natural sunlight for a blacklight to be effective. With the advancements of LED UV and UV filtering glasses lights, the room doesn't need to be completely dark. However, the more light you can block, the easier it will be to see the contamination. Urine contamination isn't the only thing that will fluoresce under a black light. Optical brighteners, which can be found in many retail cleaners, will glow under UV as well. It's important to be able to tell the difference. Urine will glow a yellowish-green color, while optical brighteners will glow whitish purple. The final tool in your arsenal is the moisture probe. Urine salts will act as a desiccant and attract moisture. On the end of the probe are two metal prongs. When these prongs encounter moisture, it closes a circuit that will set off an alarm. However, over time or in dry areas, even these salt deposits will dry out, rendering the probe less effective. This is why learning to use all of your tools in concert is your key to success. Once you've located the source of contamination, it's time to mark the area so it can be treated. An effective method of doing this is to simply mark the area with white chalk. The white chalk will vacuum and clean off the carpet easily. Do not use colored chalk. Colored chalk is not removed as easily as white chalk, and some colors can actually stain carpet fibers. After using the urine probe and black light for a while, you'll come to realize that urine contamination will typically spread after it's initially deposited. The visible stain on the surface of the carpet is usually only half the size of the actual deposit. So be sure to take this into account when marking the area of contamination.